Welcome back to Aussie Wheelin'. Today we're going to be doing something that is well overdue. Now you may or may not remember a few months ago I bought this second patrol, this white one over here, and I said there was a few things that I wanted to take off it and put onto my patrol. Well, today we're going to be doing one of those things. So today's task is going to be taking the rear bar off of this patrol and getting it ready to put on my patrol. And in order to do that, we're going to take it off, and then I'm going to be sanding it back, giving it a fresh lick of paint, making it look brand new, and then we can get it ready to actually put on my car. As you can see, this bar's seen some better days. The actual bar isn't in too bad condition. It's a bit faded, obviously. Who knows how long it's actually been on there. But the swingaways, as you can see, the tyre carry here, nice and rusty, same as this. So we're going to be taking it all off the car, pulling it apart, giving it a good sand and a fresh lick of paint, and making it look good before it goes on my car. So the first step is going to be actually taking it off of this car. So let's get some tools out, jump under there, and start taking the bolts out. I've just hopped underneath the back of the car. Just thought I'd show you where the bolts are. So it's on the left hand side, 2 bolts there. In the middle, there's 4 bolts here, holding to the chassis for the tow bar. And then on this side, another 2 bolts here, and then the other 2 bolts up the top there. So got to undo all of them. I just sprayed them with WD-40, try and loosen them up because they're real rusty. But yeah, gonna take all these out and then hoping the rear bar will come off. Alright, so a little progress update. We've taken that checker plate off the top, which meant I could access the 4 bolts in here. So they've now come out. But before we go any further, disconnected the gas struts off the swingaways. So we're gonna take them off to reduce the weight when we take this one so we can pick it up so it's a bit lighter. So I think these caps have to come off, so then we can undo the bolt, lift them off both sides, get them out of the way, and then there's a couple bolts either side we'll undo, and we can lift it off. So now everything's pretty much off, so we got both swingaways off. This checker plate's off, all those bolts are off in the middle, and underneath all these side ones are off, that side's off, and up in here there's just one on each side holding it on. So just gotta get them out and then hold this up so it doesn't fall on us. It should hopefully just pop off. Well, there you have it, the rear bar is now off this car. As you can see, nothing there, it's just the bare chassis. There's the 2 swingaways, and then round in the shed, we just had it up on this bucket, strapped on so it wouldn't fall off, and then that's it there. So you can see it's a big, heavy duty bar, and it's actually in pretty good nick as well. The only thing we've got to replace are these bearings and stuff, they're pretty screwed. But other than that, the actual bar itself looks alright. There's no bad rust. There's a bit of surface rust on the bar, but no like damaging rust. So sand all this back, clean it up, and with a bit of paint, should look brand new. And then the swingaways, they're gonna need a good sand as well because they're pretty rusty. But overall, went pretty well. So now all that behind me, we got the actual bar and the 2 swingaways. Now all that's been pulled off the car. So the next step is gonna be pulling the rest of it apart, such as taking the taillights out, the reverse camera, gas struts, these old bearings, stuff like that. Those little things need to come off, so we'll go into that. Alright, so for you guys it's been about 2 seconds. For me it's been a couple of days, but we're back down on the shed, working on the rear bar. And since you guys last seen it, it has changed a little bit. A couple of things have been going on. So off camera, I ended up taking the plastic bumper and the step that I had on the back of the patrol here, taking it off so it's just the bare chassis. And we actually lifted the bar up on the jack to test fit it on my car, just to make sure it's all gonna fit properly before stuff around sanding it back and painting it, because I don't wanna waste time and money on it just for it to not to fit. So we've test fitted it definitely does fit. So now we're gonna continue with taking the things off this bar, such as tail lights, these clips, and the camera. So let's jump straight into it. Start off by taking one of these off. So in order to get this off the bar, we need an Allen key. As you can see, there's just 2 bolts either side. Another one over here. So we'll just undo these bolts and it should pop straight off. Well, there you have it. So there it is. Ended up being another bolt in the middle, but as you can see, it's come off there. So now I'm just gonna quickly do that side and then we can move on to the tail lights. All right, so now got both of them off there and there. And I'm just gonna work on this tail light. There's just 2 screws in here with nuts on the back. So gonna pull that out and then grab that second one out too. All right, managed to get the 2 nuts off the back. So now I'm hoping this should just pop out if I'm lucky. All right, so I kind of just went ahead and did everything else, got everything off the actual main bar because there was a lot of stuffing around. So as you can see, this is the main bar. Everything's off, tail lights are out, these clips are out, camera is gone, all the gas struts are gone, all the old bearings off the swingways are gone. So that is completely ready to be sanded and then painted. And then over here on one of the swingways, the jerry cans, got to take this light off. And then this one, try and get this old light pole off and pull this tyre carrier out. And then, yeah, have it all separate and ready to be sandblasted. So let's get into that. All right, so we're gonna start by taking this thing out. So we're just gonna undo this bolt here, and then this big bit should pop out because I'm gonna get all this sanded back as well. So let's find a socket and get this bolt out. All right, so now we got this out. Next, we're gonna get this light pole out because I'm chucking it out because as you can see, it's insanely rusty and I don't really need it. So I think this screw or this bolt should come out and then cut these cable ties for the cable, and I think it should just slide out. So let's get this socket on, get this bolt out. And there you go, that pole slid straight out. As you can see, this thing is like fully rusted through. It's not even just surface rust, like there's holes all through it. The bottom's stuffed. And who knows if this light even works or the cable's like dodgy as. Don't want that. So now this thing, this is the tyre carrier. It is pretty much cleaned up. So we got the actual thing the tyre mounts on, slides in there, that's come out. The light pole's now come out. One last thing we're gonna do, just take this handle off. 1, so it can be cleaned up, and 2, so we can sandblast the rest of this. So let's quickly get that out. Alright, that handle came off relatively easily. Just had to pull this pin out and just pop straight off and just put it back together, keep all the pieces together. So you can chuck this in the collection, the other stuff. And then, yeah, there you go. One of 2 swingways, fully stripped and ready to be sandblasted and prepped for paint. As you can see, it's nothing but the bar on there. So now let's move on to this one. All right, so the second swing away is for the dual jerry cans. So all we have to do for this one is take this light off and cut this old strap off. So for the light, there's just 2 bolts. So let's quickly get these undone. Yeah, padlock out, that old rusty thing come out. Padlock I don't have the key for, obviously. So it's a pair of bolt cutters straight through it. There you have it. As you can see, the dual jerry can holder swing away is all stripped back. The number plate light has come off, padlock got off, that strap's come off, everything, so it's bare, ready to be sandblasted. And down behind me here is all the stuff that we're actually getting sandblasted. So just quickly, got the actual main bar as you saw. I stripped everything off it. That is ready to be sandblasted. The dual jerry can holder is ready as well, as you just saw. And the tyre swing away is prepped. There's a few other things like these hold the tail lights on. They're just all rusty. We're gonna reuse them, so we're gonna sandblast them, get them painted and put them back on. That's to hold the tyre on. So all those sort of little things. Just gonna get them prepped and sandblasted. So the next step is to actually get all this stuff outside of the shed, get the sandblaster set up, and so we'll get onto that. Well, it's been a while for me, but all the rear bar and the 2 swingaways are back after being sandblasted, so let me show you them. So here they are. Here's the actual main bar. That's all back to bare metal. And then there's the tyre swingaway and the dual jerry can swing away. So they're all fully sandblasted and ready to be prepped for paint. So seems how I got the rear bar sandblasted, I decided to go over it with some undercoat before the actual paint. So here's Dad and I just running around, making sure we get any sides and all the back, and in any crevices, make sure it's all coated nicely. So as you just saw, I went over and sprayed the rear bar with some primer. It was just some etch primer. So I went over and did the main actual rear bar, and then did the tyre swing away and the dual jerry can swing away as well. So as you can see, they're all grey now. That's the primer. So they're just hanging up and drying, and this is just drying on the racks over here. So yeah, next, after doing the primer, we can move on to actually painting it black. So now moving on to the proper paint, I'm starting on the tyre swing away, and so I'm just using the same paint that I did on the bull bar when I repainted that. If you haven't seen that video, definitely go check it out. And then once I did the tyre swing away, moved on to the dual jerry can, and exactly the same, just making sure I get all the sides all around the back and any little gaps, making sure it's all covered nicely. Now moving on to the main bar, exactly the same process as both the swingaways and the bull bar when I did that. Just using the exact same paint, which is just the can of Raptor, and just going around making sure got every surface covered and making sure it's all even and nicely coated. Well, here we go. The main bar, the jerry can swing away and the tyre swing away are all fully painted, and we got some new tail lights chucked into the main bar. So now all that's left, we can get that over and chuck it on the back of the Patrol. Once the bar was carried over and placed down on these boxes to support it, we were able to get it all lined up, and then we could make our way around, putting some bolts in, getting it all in the right position, and then go around, put the rest of the bolts in and get them all tightened up. And there you go, as you just saw, the main bar is all mounted up to the back of the Patrol. All the bolts are torqued to spec. So next, we can go on to a couple of the accessories that add on to it. So the first thing we're going to be focusing on is this right here, which goes in the tyre swing away, and then obviously the tyre mounts right on here. So we're going to get this cleaned up, primed and painted. And there you go, all nicely undercoated and then sprayed with the matte black Raptor coat. So next up, we've got the new bearings to go into the two swingways. So we're gonna get these all greased up and put in. Once the bearings were all greased up and put on, we were able to carry the swing away over, get it all lined up, and then put the nut on top, and we were able to do that up, and the swing away opened up nicely. And as you can see, to dual jerry can and the tyre swing away, all the bearings on, that's all mounted on. After mounting both the tyre and the jerry can swing aways, we were able to move on to the tail lights. So Dad just went around and connected the new cables into the old plug off the old lights.
Tail lights. Yep. Stop light. Yep. Yep.
Next up, I just had to put these hooks back onto the main bar. This is where the handle connected to the swingaways grab onto and clamp to keep the swingaways closed while you're driving. And then next up, the final touch for the swingaways was just to put these caps on and make sure they're on tight. Then finally, I was able to reassemble the actual handle for the swingaway and got all that mounted up. As you can see, we now have the handles and the locks on both swingways. I'll show you how they work at the end. Next up, we have this thing, which is for the tyre to mount on. So that's just gonna quickly slot in there. So one of the final things we need to do now is get this bit of checker plate for the step all cleaned up so that we can mount it back on the top of the bar there. So as you can see, the wire brush I ended up using cleaned it up pretty nice. Not perfect, but it is old and being used, but it'll do. So let's chuck it on the top of the rebar over there. And that's the checker plate all bolted up. And I think the silver actually matches it. Not too bad. It sort of breaks up the gold and the black, but doesn't stand out heaps. That means you got a proper step to step on, get up to the roof racks, and when the rooftop eventually goes on, be able to reach it way easier. One final thing we have left to do is just put the number plate on here so that you can actually see it, because the old spot is obviously blocked by the jerry cans. Just finished doing the nut up, number plate's on. There you go. That's the final product for the rebar on the back of the Patrol. So now the bar's on, all the accessories are back on and everything's bolted up. Let me quickly run you through how it all works. So here we go. Here's the bar. Got 2 jerry cans and a tyre swing away. Got this on, just walk up, grab it, swing it open. Second one, there you go. Then obviously you can access your doors again. And as you saw, we added new tail lights in, seen them working, and there you go. So this bar now is gonna make it way better when we go camping and forward driving. So in forward driving, it's gonna give me a bit more protection for the back of the car. Yes, the bar's gonna get dinged up if I smack it on a rock, but it's better that than the body of the car. But when we go camping, now I can carry 2 jerry cans, whether it's fuel or water, and even better, get the tyre off my back door, which keeps the weight off the door, which makes it easier to open and stops the hinges from wearing out faster. So what do you guys think? Do you like it? Because I personally think it came out really well. The paint come up nice, this step cleaned up really nice, and I think the look, when it's all closed up, came up really nice as well. So if you guys did enjoy today's video of installing this rebar with the carriers onto the back of my Patrol, make sure you go down below and hit the subscribe button, because there's going to be plenty of camping content on the way over the next few months, because I'm going away the end of this month, November, and going away for a while over New Year's, over the Christmas holidays. So we'll be recording all of that and you'll see that in the new year. But yeah, other than that, you can head over to Instagram and there'll be plenty of posts, including this rebar showing before and after photos and of the process. But other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next one.